Good afternoon, everybody. Is everybody enjoying the show today? Yes? Good. My name is Nitin Thakrar. I'm from eLearning Studios, and I'm going to give you a brief introduction to our company, who we are and what we do, and then we're going to talk about some new technology that's coming our way. So a quick introduction to ourselves. Our vision is to make measurable performance, measurable contribution to our clients. So we always look at what we can do to make things better, improve things, look at learner behavior, what we want to change. So that's our key aspect to us. Another key aspect to us is research and development. We do a lot of research and development in looking at learning technology and how those technologies can be applied to learning as well. We have two key strategies. One is created for you. So we create bespoke learning courses and we have a range of different clients, and we put them into different formats, from mobile learning, social learning, learner management systems. We also do a lot of serious gaming as well, so that's one of our key aspects, and we use different platforms like the Microsoft Connect to play games. So that's created for you, and we also use Oculus Rift. I don't know if anyone's come to our stand, number 37, has it had a go at the Oculus Rift. So if you haven't, please do so later on. The other key strategy is created by you as well. So we provide you all the technology, the training, the platform, the systems for you to create your own e-learning as well. So we give you a lot of support in terms of consultancy, what kind of product would be right and suitable for you to choose to do your own e-learning, as well as offering learner management systems, virtual classes, web hosting, webinars as well. So that's the traditional forms of e-learning that we offer you. Now we're going to talk about the main topic of this seminar, which is augmented reality and virtual reality. And I'm going to pass you over to Jenna Scott, who is our marketing manager, and she's going to talk to you about some of the exciting things that we're doing in terms of this space.
Yes. Oh, hi. Before we get too exciting, I'm going to go over basic definitions, because I'm sure there's a full range of acquaintance with this. So we'll start with augmented reality, then we'll work our way over to virtual reality. So augmented reality is defined as a live, direct or indirect view of a physical, real-world environment whose elements are augmented or supplemented by a computer-generated sensory input, such as sound, video, graphics, or GPS data. So essentially, it's typically, you think of reality, there's me, there's reality, I see you, that's real. Augmentation is how I would change that. Now, believe it or not, this technology has been around for a long time. It was originally invented in the 1200s. 75% of us use it today. The original augmentation is called glasses. It was the first time you could augment your reality. So I have bad eyes. I'm wearing contacts today, but typically I would just have to assume you guys were there. I really couldn't see anything. So when I put on glasses, my reality has become augmented to see more of what the rest of you see, so that we can have a more shared reality, because without it, we're various shades of blobs. Jesse Schell, who's an amazing mastermind behind a lot of gaming industry in the States, as well as virtual and augmented reality, has come up with this quote where he said, "The internet allowed us to think with a shared memory by sharing photos and stories and videos, but augmented reality will allow us to see with shared eyes." And this is where we like to see e-learning go, because when you're trying to transfer over this information, you're like, if you could just see what I see. This is where we'd like to see this tech move towards. It can start off as simple as iPhone or smartphone or tablet apps that can simply take diagrams you might have in your training material currently and show them in 3D, with the ability of your learner to be able to manipulate, to change it, to make it more clear. This can be really helpful for those particularly technical drawings. Then you've got Google Glass, which is what we've been wearing. We have these on display. This is why I'm wearing contacts today. It works the best for those of us who don't need glasses. This is the wearable tech. right? I'm doing a bit of a Star Trek theme because they had all this tech back in the 60s, and that's where we see it the most, right? So in Star Trek, Geordi wears essentially Google glasses, but instead of showing him Instagram, he sees like electricity and stuff. He's blind and he hooks it on to his brain. We're not hooking anything onto our brain. You can take these off whenever you want. So this is where we're going with that. This is a video that would play in Keynote, but doesn't in PowerPoint. So why don't I tell you about it? What you can do is you can take this kind of a tech, and when you've got people working in high-intensity construction sites or something where they're on the field, where maybe they've been trained on how to use a particular valve to relieve pressure with a gas pump, something like that, they get out there, there isn't anyone around, and it's slightly different, and they don't want to like blow up. What they can do is tap on this and say, okay, glass, play pump 1 video, and it'll walk them through the steps. It'll take video that the instructors have previously recorded using this. It'll show them the eyes through the eyes of the master, essentially, how each step worked. Then they can double check what they want. If they're still not clear, they could say, okay, glass, call mentor. And it would ring them up. You'd be able to do a live video stream so that the instructor could see exactly what that person sees. I think Nitin's going to talk to you about a project the company is currently working on with Google Glass.
Yeah. So we're working a bit of augmented reality on looking at care plans for the elderly. So a lot of care plans are in paper format, and you can't shift paper around quite easily between people. Often when the carer goes to see a person that they care for, the care plans are not there or they're hidden. Also, their care plans need updating frequently if their medicine is changed. They don't provide real-time information. A lot of the care plans are long texts and long descriptions, and there's a sort of diagram of a person trying to read a care plan, a map, and trying to drive at the same time. So we know what's going to happen. It's going to be a crash there. So these are some of the problems we have in the care industry. One of the solutions that we're providing is to use the opportunity of using Google Glass as creating video care plans through the Google Glass. So the Google Glass allows you to do initial assessment, so a assessor can come in to see what the needs are of the elderly, and then these are recorded wearing the Google Glasses. They know where the place is. It's got geographical mapping system within the Google Glass. It can also record the rooms, the different routines the elderly person will have in terms of taking medication and food. Once all that is recorded, it gets uploaded to one of our servers, and then the carer comes in, and the carer can see what that assessment was about, so they can augment those, put those glasses on, go to the elderly, and know where the fridge is, know where the food is kept, know what time the medicine should be taken. And as Jenna pointed out, there's a mentoring tool within Google Glass, so they can get instant information from the call center if they needed some medical advice on the carer as well. So this is a project that's a 2-year project. We've just started this project, so this is there's more to come from this. So what does it really do? So the Google Glass is an unobtrusive form of contact as well. So it gives you visual contact with the person that you're caring with. You don't have to put a phone or other kind of devices in front of the person that you're caring as well. It can take video notes. It's got very good voice recognition, the Google Glass as well. So it converts the voice into text quite smoothly and finely, and as well as it could send those texts to a server or in an email format as well. And it's also learning at the point of need, and there's the blurriness between the performance and learning that's taking shape between in augmented reality as well. So workers become more productive because they can act on information more readily and quickly, and so the training becomes more instant as well. So those are the key points of Google Glass.
Thank you. So as you can see, this is what we see as a training breakthrough. The ability to finally see precisely what the instructor sees or what the master in that field can see. And for them to be able to see what the student sees without them having to be side by side, without having to take away from their time to do that. This is like the biggest leap in the training process since reading and writing made the oral tradition redundant. Now we don't have to just read the same words, we can see the same things. We can experience the same experiences. Yeah, I was thinking, like, how would I wish I could use Google Glass? And I thought, if I could have got Leonardo da Vinci to film, like, his processes with his Google Glass, we would be able to see things he didn't even know he did, like how he held his paintbrush or things. You couldn't transfer all of the genius, but you could transfer some of those skills that could be studied more than they could if he was just standing next to him day by day. You'd be able to see actually from his point of view. So with augmented reality, with using the mobile phone devices or using something like Google Glass, you could get reliable task repetition because you can look at those training anytime you need it, just as a refresher. You can communicate more clearly. You can see exactly what the person's seeing. You can create training videos through the eyes of the experts, and then when they're on the field, they can call them up. They can say, hey, I need to double check how that device works, what steps were those doing, because the last time I studied it was 2 years ago, and this is the first time I've come across it. You can pass on that information from the master to the novice, which can help cut training costs because your trainers don't have to be on site all the time. This will help make training more effective so that you can train faster, more accurately, put the people you hired to work, get them going. So now we get to talk about virtual reality, and again, back to Star Trek. I'm a bit of a Trekkie. This is the holodeck, right? The ability to cast a simulation in an environment that isn't there, to be able to be in that kind of an environment. They like to do really lush, cool vacation places typically, or training. So it's defined as a computer-simulated environment that can simulate a physical presence in places in the real world or imagined worlds. Virtual reality can recreate sensory experiences, including virtual taste, sight, smell, sound, or touch. Those of you who've tried out our demo might notice you can also experience just deep fear if you hate roller coasters as much as I do. If you came around and checked it out, we've got a demo where you can pretend like you're on a roller coaster, and I hate roller coasters. So when I play it, I scream, my palms sweat, I get kind of queasy, I usually give up before it's over. It's just a 1-minute cycle. Most people are trying to do it. What's interesting is to watch people try to like lift their hands while they do it, even though you're not moving. There's nothing to do with it. My first experience with virtual reality with like those simulators back in the 90s, you could get in at the museum and it wasn't in 3D, but it had like pumps and it would move and you'd be like, oh yeah, I'm moving. So we've got rid of the pumps. We've got rid of the big box. You just strap it to your face. In fact, Nitin's got it right there. And it's got 2 little cameras on the inside with a slightly different perspective that we can create full, customized, completely immersive environments for people to check things out with. You feel like you're moving, but nothing moves you. All right, so this application to e-learning is hands down simulations. Show people things before you have them do them. Like brain surgery, we'd like to see that happen more often. Specifically, there are different areas that already have types of simulators like this, like crane operators, airplane craft. That can cost hundreds of thousands of pounds, probably over $1 million for certain ones. The ability to be able to put people in simulations without having to put them in that kind of expensive equipment early on, put them in through these training, put them through their paces, make them familiar with these environments before you have to put them in front of the actual simulators is invaluable. The experience you can gain from that. And for those of you who have industries where you can't afford to spend hundreds of millions of pounds on a simulator, you can still get some of the simulated experiences by using the Oculus Rift. Oh, which is this. So the inside, there's 2 cameras. There's the big one. This enables us to do trial by error without having fear of failure, right? Because you oftentimes learn through failing, but no one likes it. It's expensive, and it makes you feel lame and like a loser because you keep losing. But you learn really cool things through doing it. So if we can eliminate the fear of failure from the learning process, we'd be well ahead. So J.K. Rowling said, it's impossible to live without failing at something unless you live so cautiously that you might as well not have lived at all, in which case you failed by default. And you can get that with your employees. If they're so afraid to fail, they'll never try anything new. They'll never push themselves. They'll never excel. They'll never challenge themselves. Now, on one hand, we need them to do things correctly, and you need to teach them the correct procedures and things. But if they can not have the fear of failure, it won't cripple the learning process. So these simulations can enable your learners to overcome that fear in no-risk environments. And also, if you're able to, you can encourage them to fail spectacularly, fail innovatively, fail the way no one has ever thought to fail, because you would die if you did that in real life, or you would break an incredibly expensive equipment. And you'll either reinforce that the procedures you're teaching are healthy and correct, and this is why, or you'll come up with a completely new way to do something that might revolutionize your industry. It's eliminating that fear of failure is what brings life to learning. So with virtual reality and e-learning specifically, you can run specifically customized simulations. These are some of the things we've been working on for our customers, which will hopefully reduce the man hours to teach. There's no risk of damaging expensive equipment. I mean, that's not like a pound, but it's no plane simulator. There's no need to buy a new simulator or a new dummy for new exercises. If things change in your industry, we can just update your program. We can just set up a new one. You've already bought all the hardware you need. It's a fully immersive experience. And those of you who tried the roller coaster, I know some of you were like almost sick. I saw you. And other ones had the time of their life. Somebody, like when they took it off, they looked like they'd seen God. It was like they'd had a miracle. It was amazing. It's completely immersive. That's what you want your learning experiences to be. This can be used in most office spaces or homes. You don't have to have a special environment. You felt like you were on an island in the middle of nowhere running on the coolest roller coaster ever, and you're just in a little booth right here sitting on a swivel chair. You don't need a special space to do this kind of training. And it's easily transported for taking training with you. If you want to be the really weird person on the train, this is for you. But the ultimate goal is to diminish that fear of failure, to increase that kind of learning. So is this the best next step for you and your company? Well, are your learners engaged in your current material? Do they most of the time look like that? Maybe? Then maybe we could add some of these things and it could at least liven it up a bit. This guy is super happy about plumbing. He doesn't even have tools, but that's how excited he is to not be studying on an LMS. He's thrilled at that. Look at, he's gonna tighten that screw with his fingers if he has to. Have your learners switch from reading about it to doing it, and do this as much as you can now. Augmented reality and virtual reality are easily added to enhance your current training. You can create a custom virtual reality environment for simulations with the Oculus Rift. You could use a smartphone or tablet app that can bring your hard copy materials to life. When you scan a picture, you could have a video start playing that would explain things. You could make those diagrams come up in 3D and you could move them around. You can even have them do translations if you don't want to have to pay for a completely new hard copy. It's amazing what you can do with augmented reality and just smartphone apps. You could also create a video library with Google Glass from the masters. You could put Google Glasses on the best of the best in all of the areas of the different field. You can have them tape the different things they do during the day. If they're not good at talking or explaining things, you can have someone else talk and explain it over what they're doing. That would be an amazing thing to add to your training. Something else that you come up yourself, entirely personalized. We can make it completely immersive, tailored to your specific objectives. Come talk with us. We have the equipment, we have the developers. They can't wait to create something cool. So if you come up with something cool, we want to make it. Please hire us. The goal today is to get you to help to dream big. Think of the coolest, best thing you could do with this. And then let's take some small steps to start doing that. But most of all, just start now. This tech is fast and coming at us. The sooner you start building up a library, you start working on development for this, the tech will be there to catch you up fast. So the sooner you start, the better. Oh, by the way, if you stop by our booth, I forgot about this. So we got Google Glass from the States. My mom took it out and took a picture. The likes she got on this is like more than any likes she ever got on Facebook. So even if you're not interested in the tech, you can come by, we'll take your picture, you can have the cool points on us. So here's our contact information, and I'll let Nitin wrap it up. Thank you very much. Oh, here.
So that's augmented reality and virtual reality. I'd really like to take some questions from the audience if anyone's got any curiosities or particular questions about what it is and how it can be used, or maybe any thoughts how they can be applied to your company and how it can't be applied. And this is just baloney. It's going to fade away. It's just nonsense, all gimmick. Can anyone comment on this or give us some ideas or questions? Oh, go on.
I'd just be interested to know how you plan to roll out training on, say, the Oculus Rift to a large-ish number of learners, considering that most people won't have access to one easily.
Yeah, we're not talking about perhaps scale. It's more about the quality of training that we're on about here. So you may not be able to roll it out on an LMS to 10,000 users. No, that's not going to be possible. But what we want to do is to have a more quality form of training that's can go beyond the LMS, beyond the classroom-based kind of training as well. But it's always, as with all technologies, it's a blended approach that you take. It's not replacing one with the other. It's just supplementing, complementing what is already done, but in a different form, a different style as well.
With that a bit, though, while we can't churn out 10,000 Oculus Rifts right now, what we are doing with the people who we currently work with is we develop the program and we also sell them the Oculus Rift with the game preloaded onto it. That's the way we're dealing with it on a smaller scale immediately. So because the Oculus Rift and the Google Glass are only available to developers at the moment, we're developing, and then we'll also sell you the hardware if we can too. Eventually, when it's available off the shelf, we'll just do the developing side. So, yeah. Here you go. Oh.
The mass take, which might not be something you're doing at the moment, what you said about scale, do you think this is going to have to look less conspicuous for the man in the typical cynical English print industry?
You don't think this is cool?
I think it looks lovely on you. I'm sort of talking about your St. Tunbridge Wells. I'm not going to wear something like that. But if it was sort of integrated into a normal conventional spectacle, that would be more complicated.
It comes with actual glasses. You can order your own prescription in them. You've got sunglasses as well, and it doesn't come in just blue. It comes in black and white and maybe pink. So I think their goal is to make it even more sleek. This is, of course, the first edition available to developers right now. I think that's their goal, yes. Maybe if they just added extra thick on this side, it'd help.
Same goes for the VR as well. I appreciate it's outside of
Yeah.
it's sort of like things will have to shrink before people
Yeah.
it's too less will take things seriously.
Right. Yeah. This is the concept editions, yeah. I'm hoping it'll all get a lot prettier. Any other questions? Yes, sir. Yes. So you can... Right. How...
Yeah, so what we're looking at is to combine the Connect with the Rift, and so what you're having is a body inside the Rift, your own body as well. So there you can put different simulations and virtual environments in that as well. So that's the next experiment we're working on as well, to combine the two together and be more transposed into a virtual environment with your own body and hands moving and legs moving at the same time as well. Yeah, very early, yeah. Okay. Well, I suggest that you could come to our stand and just have a look and experience of the Rift and the glasses yourself, and just come and talk to us and see how it could possibly be applied or not applied, as we'd like to know. Thanks very much. We're at booth stand number 37. Thank you.